Dino Dipidu and Queen Phoenix. The story of a young dino who saved Queen Phoenix from extinction. Some 150 million years ago, in the land of dinosaurs, there lived a young Diplodocus named Dipidu. He was the smallest in his family, always craning his neck to talk to his parents and the other towering members of his tribe. Dipidu knew that once he grew up, he would be like his father.
One day, I'll be as big as Dad, 100 feet tall, and my weight would be 35,000 kilograms. Imagine that.
It always surprised him that Diplodocus dinosaurs were such huge creatures, though their diet consisted mostly of underwater plants, leaves, and soft ferns. Dipidu wasn't just playful, he was curious. He loved exploring and often wandered far from home, dreaming about the stars and wondering about the mysteries of the universe. He was especially fascinated by the night sky and would often spend long hours gazing at the stars. Next to the Diplodocus village lived a large group of dinosaurs who belonged to the Brachiosaurus species. They would use their long necks to graze on vegetation that other dinosaurs couldn't reach. Dipidu loved playing with Brachiosaurus children. He was especially fond of Aunt Brachie, a wise old Brachiosaurus, who many said was close to 100 years. Dipidu would visit Auntie Brachie whenever he had doubt. One night, Dipidu was relaxing in his favorite grassland, gazing at the sky, when he saw a streak of flashing, bright light pass over his head.
What was that? A falling star? No, it's coming closer.
Exclaimed Dipidu. With his heart thumping, Dipidu ran towards the fiery light. It floated down gently, landing on a patch of grass near his home. When he came near the object, Dipidu was surprised by what he saw.
It's a feather, but it's glowing.
Dipido had never seen a shimmering feather that glowed so brightly, and he was hesitant to touch it. The feather suddenly lifted into the air and spoke in a soft, melodic voice.
I am Fira, the fiery feather of the Phoenix Queen. I fell from her wings while she flew over your land. You must help me return to her. Without me, she cannot take rebirth.
Dipido gasped.
The Phoenix Queen? The legendary bird of fire? But how will I find her?
The fiery feather spoke once again in its sweet voice.
She lives in the great volcano far beyond the misty mountains.
Dipidu was thunderstruck and cried in despair.
How can I cross the misty mountains? They are so dangerous.
Seeing his state of mind, the fiery feather said,
You are a brave dinosaur, and only the bravest can restore the feather to the Phoenix Queen. That is why I have chosen you.
Dipidu nervously picked up the feather and rushed to Aunt Brachie, who was sitting in her yard. He told Aunt Brachie what had happened. Without batting an eyelid, Aunt Brachie said,
You are lucky, Dipidu. The Phoenix Queen needs your help. She's no ordinary creature. She is a majestic bird who comes to Earth to be reborn after every 1,000 years. Then, she goes back to paradise to live with the gods for the next 1,000 years.
As Dipidu looked on in awe, the knowledgeable Aunt Brachie continued with the story of the Phoenix Queen.
When she first came to Earth, she built a nest of the finest herbs and spices, and then waited for the sun to rise. And when the sun rose, she started singing in the sweetest voice imaginable. Such was the haunting tone of her voice that even the sun god stopped to listen. However, when the sun god resumed his journey, he did not realize that a spark of fire had fallen on the nest built by Phoenix.
And Becky took another sip of water and continued.
The nest, which was full of dry herbs and spices, caught fire, and Phoenix was reduced to ashes. Many thought that this was the end of Phoenix. But 3 days later, Phoenix was reborn, and she flew back to paradise. This cycle has continued ever since.
At this, the fiery feather turned to Dipidu and pleaded,
Please take me back to Queen Phoenix. Without me she will be unable to take rebirth, and her life will end.
Dipidu realized how important it was for him to take the feather to Queen Phoenix. he could not let her down. He brushed his fears aside and decided to cross the mighty mountain. It was now dawn, and two of Dipido's close friends, Sheila, a speedy velociraptor who could climb the steepest cliffs, and Braddock, a friendly brachiosaurus who could pluck fruits from the highest trees, had arrived and offered to come along. Dipido carefully placed the fiery feather between the scales on his back, and the three friends started their journey for the great volcano. The three friends faced many challenges. Their first challenge was crossing a raging river. This is where Braddock proved very helpful. With his powerful tail, he diverted the current, making it possible for Dipido and Sheila to cross the waters. The next challenge came in the form of an attack from a Pterodactyl, a dangerous flying dinosaur. She swooped down on the back of Dipido to steal the fiery feather. Once again, it was Braddock who came to the rescue. He took advantage of his height and hit the pterodactyl as it came close to Dipido. The injured pterodactyl gave up the idea of stealing the feather and flew away. But the third challenge was the most difficult. Dipido found it very hard to climb on the icy slope of Misty Mountain and fell down repeatedly. Finally, Sheila, who was much surer of her feet, supported Dipido with her body and helped him slowly move up the slope. After 5 days of walking through difficult terrain, the three friends reached the great volcano. Its peak glowed red, and the air was hot like a dragon's breath. As they reached the top, Dipido held the feather high and called out,
Phoenix Queen. I am Dipido the dinosaur. Here is the golden feather that you had dropped over our land.
In a burst of fiery light, the Phoenix Queen appeared. She was magnificent, with wings of blazing gold and eyes that sparkled like stars. In a voice that was warm and kind, she told Dipido,
You are courageous and brave, little dinosaur. Thank you for bringing my feather back. Because of your courage, I will be able to take rebirth. I promise that, and your heart will always shine with the light of the phoenix.
With a flap of her mighty wings, Queen Phoenix sprinkled golden fire over Dipido and his friends, filling them with warmth and happiness. When Dipido returned home, he was greeted as a hero. That night, as the stars sparkled above, Dipido knew one thing for sure.
Even the smallest dinosaur can do big, brave things.
The moral of the story: with teamwork and courage, you can achieve great things.
If you enjoyed listening to this story, then please like, share, and subscribe to the Fables Forever channel by clicking the subscribe button below and enjoy more such stories.